would you do with you? You all the things we knew. Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong? Or would you turn and walk away? What would you do with you? You all the things we knew. Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too?
Hi everybody, welcome to the Keeping It Real Reality Check Show. I'm your host, Keeping It Real, and this is my reality check for you. Hey, listen, today I'm going to stick on the Boston Marathon because it's kind of a hot subject in the world. It is something that all of us should be paying attention to as far as what happened, who the suspects were, and what's more importantly, what's happened after the bombings occurred. In case you didn't know, 2 bombs went off at the Boston Marathon, injuring about 170, 180 people, killing 3, and about 40 of the people that were injured lost legs, limbs, parts of legs, ankles. It was pretty traumatic. The 2 bombs that went off, one at the finish line and one about 100 feet from the finish line, went off about 10 seconds apart, and it was totally intended to cause chaos and massive injury due to the type of bombs. They were pressure cooker bombs. They contained nails and ball bearings. Nails and ball bearings, you know, the bomb explodes, flies out through the crowd, and tears off legs and limbs. Anyways, it was a nightmare, guys. It was probably like the 3rd worst terrorist attack on the United States. And I'm going to say terrorist attack because I think there's a lot more to this than what the media and the FBI and everyone is saying. Now, the internet is kind of in agreement with this because ever since the bombing, the internet, and I mean the people that are on the internet, people that are seeking the truth, have been doing their own investigations as to what's going on. And if you ask me, the internet's done a pretty good job of uncovering who some possible suspects could be. They've been lambasted ever since by the FBI and the mainstream media, saying that we're amateur researchers and we really don't know what we are doing, and that we should only, and this is straight from the FBI, only be looking at the pictures that the FBI is presenting us. So first off, I'm going to start off with the internet's possible suspects, and then we're obviously going to have to end into the FBI suspects and everything that's happened after that. So here are the internet suspects, and as always, you're open to make your own decisions. I'm not saying that this is a fact, this is actual, these are the suspects, but these are facts that simply cannot be ignored. So here they are. Now, these are the first 2 suspects. We're going to call them the Man in Black and Mr. Blue. You can see in the images here that both of them, the Man in Black, who is circled and standing next to him, Mr. Blue, are both carrying bags that are quite full and appear to have heavy objects in them. If you look at the blown up picture there, you can see what looks to be a pressure cooker inside his backpack. So it's quite obvious to me that these 2 would be suspects, considering this picture was taken just 15 feet away from where the actual bomb went off. Now, the next picture you're about to see is where the Man in Black and Mr. Blue are about 50 feet further away from bomb site 1, about 50 feet from bomb site 2. Now, you can see in the picture here, the Man in Black no longer has his backpack on. Mr. Blue still has his backpack. So somewhere between bomb site 1 and bomb site 2, Man in Black has misplaced or set down his backpack. That's really all you can take from this picture, but the thing that stands out to most guys is his backpack, the Man in Black's backpack, is gone. There's no question about it, and it's only, 50 feet away from where they were in the previous picture. So the internet, did a very good job of pointing these 2 out, and if you ask me, I think they were spot on. So we're going to continue on and look at some other suspects. Now, the next suspect I'm going to show you is Mr. Frumpy. He is what I call the white constitutionalist, possibly vet suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. Um, he could be a Tea Party member, but I think he's more likely to be a vet with post-traumatic stress syndrome. And he too is a suspect because he's carrying a black backpack, what appears to be kind of heavy. He's using two hands to hold it up. And if you see the arrow in the circle, it is also kind of matching the white tag that is on the bag that was found at bomb site 1 that detonated, and what was left of the bag had gray stripes and a white tag. So Mr. Frumpy is no doubt a suspect, and I'm going to show you something here that I think is a little more interesting, is the proximity of Mr. Frumpy to the Man in Black and Mr. Blue. Now this next picture is basically an aerial shot of Bomb Blast 1 halfway to Bomb Blast 2. The larger picture kind of shows the crowd that they were walking through. On the lower part of the screen, you have, interestingly, all three of the internet suspects. You have Mr. Frumpy on the bottom left with his backpack, suspect number 3. And then, of course, suspects number 1 and 2, the Man in Black and Mr. Blue, are in the lower right-hand corner. If As you've seen in other pictures, and if you can see in this picture, the Man in Black doesn't have his backpack. The first bomb site is marked in X near the top left of the screen. And it's interesting to me that all three of these individuals were here at ground zero and this close to bomb site 1 and bomb site 2, and Man in Black is missing his backpack. So if you ask me, the internet once again did the right thing and picked these two out as suspects. Now these next group of suspects is something that I find probably the most intriguing out of the three suspects so far. Aside of the fact that the media completely ignored the Man in Black, Mr. Blue, and Mr. Frumpy. These next suspects are something that we should all be wondering as to why they were there. And here they are. Now, the next suspects that I had to point out are actually really interesting. If you look in the lower left-hand corner down here, you'll see a gentleman with a backpack on. You'll actually see three gentlemen. One with the obvious backpack with the white tag on it. There's a second gentleman in the middle, and then the gentleman in the hat with the white logo on it. It turns out that this is probably 10 feet, 15 feet away from ground zero, and these two are highly suspect in the fact that what were these gentlemen being here? First off, let's work on identifying who and what these individuals are. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to zoom into his backpack so we get a good look at it. And what you see here is that white tag, heavy backpack, could contain a pressure cooker device. You see the headset piece going into his ear, the tan BDU pants, and highly interesting picture. And then the next picture we're going to go to here is a front shot of these guys, which is even more interesting, the fact that you get to find out they are both wearing the desert BDUs, the desert military pants. Both of them are wearing the desert combat military boots. And if you notice that the white logo on the man's hat is a little more visible, pointed out by the blue line. And then you also notice that the white tag on the red line there, if you follow that red line, the white tag on the back of his back is clearly visible. The clothes that they're wearing, and especially that hat, are going to point to some more evidence as to who and what these guys are. And we're going to ask ourselves, what were they doing there? That appears to be the biggest question. So before we go on any further, I also want to point out that these two would appear to be military, by judging by their stature and the evidence that I'm about to show you, are members of Craft International, which is a mercenary private contractor security company that anybody can hire, and these mercenaries will do whatever they are paid to do. They make about $150,000 a year. But we're going to focus more on that hat that he's wearing and the logo that's on that hat, and give a little proof as to who these guys are, so you're not just thinking I'm making this up. So the next shot we're going to do is we're going to zoom right into that hat and take a look at that logo. All right, in this picture, I've taken the liberty of combining a couple of pictures, cropping out the hat, and blowing up a little bit so we can get a better look at what's on his hat. If you look, I've got the blow-up version of that hat. It is the skull that is the Punisher skull that Craft International likes to use on their hats. Most of the SEAL teams use this logo as well, their logo. And they just kind of wear it on their hats, on T-shirts, or shirts that they wear. That way they kind of brag. They can kind of brag about who and what they work for, kind of without anyone really knowing it. And if you notice also, there's the credentials that both of them are wearing on their shirts. So these guys are supposed to be there. They're paid to be there. They are special forces from Craft, and that's what we're going to look at next. Is a screenshot from Craft International's webpage where it talks about the logo and what it means. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and we'll go from there. Now, this is a screenshot of Craft International's website at thecraft.com. Remember, once again, people, this is a private security company. They take former military, usually special forces. They hire them for about $100,000 to $150,000 a year, and they put them to work for whoever hires Craft International to do the work. But once again, you can see the Punisher skull on the sleeve, and it is their logo. And we're going to go to another shot. This is actually the next screenshot is taken from their About the Skull page at thecraft.com. The web address is at the top of the screen. But the paragraph there, if you can read it, basically talks about the history of the skull, what it stands for, and a couple other issues as far as what it's all about. It also goes to talk about that Chris Kyle, who is one of the founders of the Craft. And if you guys don't remember who Chris Kyle was, he was the most decorated sniper and a founder of Craft International. This is a picture of him wearing the skull cap, Punisher skull cap, which is symbolic of his company, the Craft. Chris Kyle was murdered about 2 months ago, up to 2 months ago, at a gun range, shot in the face. This is another picture of Chris Kyle with the Punisher cap, as he was doing an interview on the O'Reilly Factor not too long before he was killed. Interesting to note, too, that Chris Kyle was killed a couple months ago. The connection between him, the Punisher skull, Craft logo, and these two guys at the bombing site at the Boston Marathon is highly interesting. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the other hat that the Craft International Special Force guys were wearing at the bomb blast, and we're going to do a side-by-side comparison, just so you know I'm not just trying to trick you. I mean, even though you could even rewind it and take a look at this, I'm just going to do a side-by-side so we can get a good look at it. All right, here we have a comparison of the Punisher skull being found on the Craft International Special Forces that were at the blast site at the Boston Marathon on the left. There's a zoom in of the hat that one of the operatives were wearing. And then, of course, here's a picture of Chris Kyle, one of the founders of the Craft International, as he was appearing on the O'Reilly Factor. I'm also going to show you a couple more pictures of Chris Kyle, most decorated sniper, just to give you more evidence of the Punisher skull. There he is with the skull on his hat, carrying his most beloved sniper rifle. Another hat, and we're going to go to another one here. There he is with the Punisher on his shirt, the Punisher skull on his shirt, and again, Craft International's website where it shows their logo. So it's no doubt in my mind that Craft International was there. The question is, why? And not to digress, but another question we should be asking is why was Chris Kyle, most decorated Navy SEAL sniper, killed? I believe it was February 2nd. This article that we're seeing on the screen right now is dated February 3rd. American sniper and author Chris Kyle fatally shot at Texas gun range. This is February, guys, not that long ago. So it's interesting to note that the founder of uh, Craft International was brutally murdered while at a gun range by a friend and fellow Marine uh, while he was at a gun range. So it's interesting to note that this all occurred just months before this whole Boston Marathon bombing took place and the presence of his very own Craft International. So was he took out because he knew what was going? Chris Kyle, in case you didn't know, was a truther. He was all about exposing the truth. He was very pro-gun, and he mysteriously was shot and killed by one of his own. So that's something else we should look into, but I think we're digressing. I do think that it's possible that he was killed because he knew or was aware of what was being planned here at the Boston Marathon. Anyways, not to digress, let's move on. We're going to focus a little more on who else was there as far as members of Craft International. Okay, so let me kind of reiterate what we've gone over so far. So what we've had so far is three suspects that were all carrying black backpacks that were picked out by the internet independent researchers that are out there, and there's millions of them, folks, that spotted three likely suspects, the man in black, the man in blue, uh, and Mr. Frumpy. And then, of course, we have these two Craft International mercenaries that were on the scene, also carrying black backpacks that were on the scene. We also went over the evidence of the Punisher skull as to its connection with Craft International, Chris Kyle, and the untimely and completely mysterious death of founder of Craft International, Chris Kyle. So it's pretty interesting to me, if you ask me, that Chris Kyle was murdered just months before this whole Boston Marathon and the presence of Craft International being at ground zero at this Boston Marathon. Was it possible? Is it possible that someone hired Craft International to be there to make sure that these bomb blasts went off? Whether it was Mr. Frumpy pulling it off, or their backup plan, these Muslims pulling it off, or these two FBI suspects that we're about to get into. Either way, the mere presence of Craft International before and during and after the explosion is highly suspect, in my opinion, considering also that there was a bomb drill going on and announcements were being made over the PA that this is just a drill, do not panic, it's just a drill. There were bomb sniffing dogs. And actually, as we'll see in some of these pictures I'm about to show you, more members of the Craft International elite mercenary team, and one of them happened to be carrying a radiation detector after the blast. So it's starting to appear that someone knew that these bombings were going to happen. It appears to me also that there was multiple methods for these bombings to take place, whether Mr. Frumpy was going to do it, the two Middle Eastern guys, the Saudi internationalists that we haven't really touched on yet, but I think there's more coming on that, so I'm not going to touch on him so much. But, or was it these two Chechnyan rebels that are American citizens who actually the FBI is saying did the bombing, and who they killed one, and one is currently in the hospital with throat injuries, and I believe, according to the news behind me right now, that he's actually starting to talk. So we're going to start getting into that part. I hope you're sticking with me because it does get interesting, and we're going to pick off right here at the rest of the SEAL team, or the Craft International Special Forces team, mercenary team that was there that day. This next picture is going to show you how close they were to ground zero, and how many of them were actually there. So let's focus on that. Okay, what we're looking at now is a photo that was taken moments after the attack happened. And what we can see in this picture, and it's kind of hard, I'm going to try to give you a more blown up picture of this group of guys standing by the truck. But in this picture, you'll see 7 of these Craft International team members, all with credentials, so they were supposed to be there, meaning they knew that something was going on, looking at the first bomb site. If you looked in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see our first 2 suspects, SEAL team suspects earlier, and you'll see 5 others all standing around this truck, and they're looking at the bomb blast over here to the right. And they were there the entire time, no more than 50 feet the entire time before, during, and after the bomb blast. So it's like they were looking for the bombs to go off, or knew that they were going to go off, and they stayed there the entire time. This is very interesting to me, just the mere presence of them being there, and the fact that there were so many of them there with their little truck with all the antennas on there, which I do believe is, I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically a broadband antenna that gives them access to, special internet so they can communicate. Well, this is it. It's highly suspect, guys. There's a lot of these SEAL team members here. I wish I could point them out to you. I haven't quite figured out how to use my arrow there, but they're all around that truck. There's 7 of them. So, and I've numbered them, if you can see. So I'm going to try to get a zoomed in picture here for you, and we'll take a closer look at it. All right, folks, here it is, zoomed in picture. As you can see, I've numbered them. You got the original 2 SEAL Craft International members, labeled as number 1 and number 2. And if you notice that number 2 is not wearing or carrying his backpack anymore, which had the white label on it that I'm going to point out to you at some point in this video. But so altogether, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy in the green hat, we're going to see later as well. I'm going to point him out to you. He actually was reaching into his backpack right after the first bomb blast. And then you got number 5, 6. Number 6, we have a picture of him in his Punisher logo on his shirt. You can kind of see it in the picture. And of course, number 7 up top here, was actually the one carrying the radiation detector. So we're going to try to get all this into this movie, guys, and I hope that you're still with me and still paying attention, because obviously this gets more and more interesting. There's no doubt in my mind that there was something much bigger going on than some random terrorist attack. It does appear that this was planned well in advance, and we're just going to have to work at getting to the bottom of it. So Google anything that I show in these videos, guys. I do ask everybody to do that. Don't take me for and what I say and point to you for granted. Do your own research. None of these images have been photoshopped outside of any textual graphics and arrows. So just pay attention, guys. Stick with me, and we're going to work through this, hopefully piece by piece, and try to find out what's really going on. So on to the next step. Okay, what I'm going to show you now is that the man in the green hat, number 4, he was spotted right after the bomb blast, kind of tucked in a little bit of a nook, pulling something, we don't know what it is, out of his backpack. Who knows? These SEALs are known to carry their guns, fully automatic assault rifles, in their backpacks when they're on duty. Who knows? That way they can maintain some kind of undercover thing going on without standing out. But he is no doubt pulling something out of his bomb pack, his backpack. In this picture right here, here he is, right behind blast site number 1, tucked into a little corner. You can kind of see the logo on his hat. He is definitely reaching into a black backpack at bomb blast site number 1. Now we're going to go back and we're going to look at the group of 7 again, and point out guy number 6, the guy with the logo on his t-shirt. Got a picture right after the bomb blast. The team apparently kicked into some kind of action and started to move. And when he did, he actually exposed the Punisher logo on his shirt in the upper right-hand corner there while he's reaching for a gun or whatever. You also notice that the bald guy in the middle there is carrying something in his hands, and then of course we have the guy in the hat that was tucked in the nook in the corner pulling something out of his pack. This is obviously before that picture was taken, before he actually got to that nook. But we're going to focus on the logo on the guy's shirt on the right and whatever that guy is holding in his hand. All right, once again, here's a group picture of the Craft International guys. We're going to focus on number 7 up here at the top. This is right after the bomb blast, and we're going to focus on what he was carrying in his hands. I took the opportunity to find another picture of him moments later, and there he is holding a device right across from blast site 1 at the finish line, and in his hand is what appears to me to be a radiation detection device used to detect dirty bombs and things like that. We're going to zoom in here and take a closer look, and there it is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to compare it to an image of a radiation detection device. And I don't know, you decide. To me, it looks like the same device. So, I don't know. These guys apparently knew what they knew what was coming, suspected that there was going to be a dirty bomb. Suspected that there were going to be bombs there, maybe possibly a dirty bomb, but they knew an event was going to happen. So the presence of Craft International, I'm not really sure how they pan out. Were they complicit in the crime? Did they know it was going to happen? I don't know. But what I do know is that Craft International, a mercenary team, was present that day. They appear to have known that this event was going to take place, and they might have even been complicit in making sure that this event actually happened. I don't know. I'm not going to spend any more time on that because I think there's more things we need to be digging into as far as like the FBI suspects and what's transpired and what has transpired after the bombing and what happened to these 2 suspects, who they are. Okay, to reiterate just a little bit as far as everything that's going on, now we have, a bunch of suspects. We got Mr. Frumpy carrying a black backpack that resembles the first bomb blast. We've got the 2 Muslim guys, one Mr. Black and one Mr. Blue. Mr. Black's backpack came up missing, and they were in transit between bomb site number 1 and bomb site number 2. And then we have, of course, our operatives from Craft International all carrying black backpacks, some of them missing their backpacks that were there before, during, and after the explosions occurred. It does appear that they were a bit surprised in the pictures that I've been able to find. But then again, maybe they're just acting or playing it out or just playing a role. It's my opinion, my guess, that they were probably there to make sure that this event happened. Whether, like I said, whether Mr. Frumpy, the anti-government post-traumatic stress syndrome vet, did it, or the Muslims, 2 Muslims did it, Mr. Black and Mr. Blue, or they did it, or as the FBI would lead us to believe, because they want us to forget everything that I've just showed you just now and focus only on the 2 suspects, one who they've killed and the other one who is currently in the hospital just beginning to speak. So I guess we're going to find out what's going on with them, and we're going to dive into them a little bit. But I really think it's bizarre that they want us to completely forget about everything that I've just showed you just now, which is everything that independent researchers across the world have come up with that the FBI wants you to forget. So let's move on to suspects. We're going to call them 1 and 2 because that is what the FBI has called them. They do have names, but they are Russian names, be it that they have now made a connection with the Islamic Chechen rebels, which, if most of you don't know, is CIA funded with your taxpayer dollars in Chechnya to keep that revolution and everything going on over there. I do believe last year alone they were sent like $2 billion. Anyways, we're going to focus on them and the things that have transpired since then. Bear with me, guys. This is a long journey. You really can't make sense out of a puzzle unless you look at all the pieces. So we're going to move on. Bear with me. Now we're going to move on to suspects number 1 and 2. We're going to show you the pictures that the FBI released, and then we're hopefully quickly going to move through the events that transpired. Now, what most of you probably already know, the FBI came out with the pictures. They said these are the suspects. Ignore everything the internet is telling you, because these are the suspects. Most of you don't know, and if you have heard on the news that the FBI was actually in contact with suspect number 1, which is the bigger of the two, back in 2011 and also in 2009 when the Russian government asked the FBI to do an investigation into this suspect number 1 because he had connections or terrorist connections. So the FBI was well aware who this guy was. They actually talked to his parents. They talked to him. They brought him in for questioning, and they let him go. So, and now they're releasing the FBI photos of these two, saying, "Help us find these guys. We don't know who they are." Well, they're lying to, because they've known at least since 2009 who the older brother is. So, and he's now dead, apparently run over by his brother in an attempt to get away after suspect number 1 was shot. He tried to get away, backed over his brother. I'm not buying that either, because there's a whole lot more to that too, because there are pictures showing him alive after he was shot and arrested and cuffed, stripped naked. So, I mean, like I said, guys, this is some very interesting stuff. You really need to be paying attention to it. We're going to move on. So let's go ahead and look at suspects number 1 and number 2. Okay, here's the picture that the FBI released of suspects 1 and 2. The guy on the left is the older brother. The guy on the right is the younger brother. Both Chechens, both American citizens, to note, at least for a year, who got their citizenship last year on September 11th. Here's another picture of the older brother, and of course, here's the younger brother. And this coming picture up here is a picture of them at the near the bomb site. Can't really pinpoint exactly where they were at, but they were obviously there. There is pictures floating around the internet. I haven't been able to dig that one up yet, but they were there. There's a picture there of the younger brother standing next to the young boy who died. So both of these suspects were no doubt at the bomb blast at Site 1. So they are definitely suspects. Like I said, I think this was multifaceted. I think they had Mr. Frumpy to do it, and if he couldn't do it, the 2 Muslim guys could have did it. The SEAL Team 6 guys, or the SEAL Team, I'm sorry, not SEAL Team 6, the Craft International mercenaries could have did it. I think the mercenaries were more likely there to ensure that one of several of these operatives actually pulled off the attack. So if you look up here, this is actually a graphic where I believe the mother says that the FBI framed her sons, and that there was actual contact, FBI contact with the older brother back in 2011, I think 2009. So highly interesting, folks. We're going to dive a little more into this, and let's figure this shit out. All right, everybody. I hate to say this, but I'm running out of time. I got things to do today. I got to get ready for work. But I guess the important thing is that I've showed you a lot of the evidence that that the FBI doesn't want you to look at, as far as Craft International, the other suspects, Mr. Frumpy, Mr. Black, Mr. Blue, especially focusing a lot of this video on the Special Forces mercenary group called Craft International being there before, during, and after the explosions. There's something much bigger going on in the world today, guys, and I think it has to do with the Illuminati, or the New World Order, trying to find out now how much of your liberty and freedom are you willing to give up for just a tiny bit of safety, or, like I like to say, a false sense of safety. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up this video with some images from Boston during the martial law that was there during the hunt for the suspects, which one of them that I believe they killed, and after he was taken alive, and the other younger suspect who's now in the hospital right now with some throat damage. He might be able to speak, he might not be able to speak, but I'm going to leave you with some pictures and really put it into your head, guys. This hasn't happened before in America. It shouldn't be happening now, and it should not happen again for whatever reason. This is one of the biggest reasons why we Americans need to keep our right to bear arms. That way we can defend ourselves against, well, possible terrorists, but more importantly, against what we're seeing in this video, which is a police state takeover of our country, folks. For whatever reason, it may be justifiable to you, but it's not to a lot of people who value their freedom. It was a point not too long ago, just a couple of days ago, guys, that the police needed a warrant to come into your house, and that's not the case anymore. They can kick in your doors, they can pound down your doors, take you out of your home by gunpoint, search your house for whatever reason. Sure, they were looking for suspects in a bombing, but you, the American people, gave up that right to be safe and secure in your own homes and your privacy, apparently because of this 19-year-old who was sitting bleeding to death in a boat in someone's backyard. So once again, think about it, folks. Those who give up liberty and freedom for that little bit of security deserve neither. So I'm leaving you with the pictures, guys. This is me, keeping it real. As always, peace. Enjoy the pictures.
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong? Or would you turn and walk away? What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away? What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away?